Shut up and sit down.
I am going to be happy this year. I am going to make myself happy.
Do you want us to leave the room? Or?
I don't know about y'all, but I'm fine. What you wanna do, what you got in mind? Would you mind if I rode my bike for a little while?
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Heffler, and Jake Von During. Welcome to 2021. We've been waiting for you. Happy New Year.
And we all back home. Yeah. Grab your bikes and we'll ride through the city like kings tonight. And we all getting farther away from the place that our mama stays.
I said that I would eat more vegetables, and I haven't yet. But it's okay. I still have time. Since last year, I ate none.
Would you mind if I rode my bike for a little while?
No live stream.
Boo!
All right, welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von During, and I'm here with Lance Epler.
Fancy Pants Lance, right here in studio.
Welcome back, Lance.
Thank you very much.
And when did you get back?
About 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago.
It's a 16-hour drive from Vegas.
Drive straight, or did you stay somewhere?
No, we did 3 hours the first night, and then 14 hours yesterday, and then I stopped driving at 2 in the morning this morning.
Ouch.
I got a full 3 hours of sleep.
Oh, nice.
And then jumped in the van and kept driving, so I was here this morning so I could stare at you two ugly people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sitting to his right, Evan Price.
I can't tell if we're coming in or out right now, or if that's just the water in my ears because I just came out of the pool.
I think it's your ears, my friend.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
We sound fantastic.
I assume that you did, but usually I can't hear or see good, so it was just an assumption. What do you got there, Lance? I'm drinking the same exact thing. So.
LaCroix. We're all drinking LaCroix.
Murray. Blackberry cucumber. Murray pepino. Every French person just got super angry at me. Listen.
A big thank you to Anna Mack.
Absolutely.
She hooked us up with a couple cases of LaCroix.
She put such nice notes on there, too.
Yeah,
she's such an awesome person.
She is a sweetheart and a half. So
that whole family's really awesome, too.
Who is it?
Anna.
Anna
Mack
the Anna.
is the trainer, the bike tech.
Trainer. Oh, yeah, she was helping. Okay.
Aide.
I know who Anna is now. It just took me a
Jack
minute.
of all trades here at the Endurance Lab. Yeah.
She's racing with us starting this year. Well, she was going to race with us last year, but we know how that went. But yeah, she's going to race with us in 2021. Fingers crossed.
She could be very fast on a bicycle. She was a very good track athlete and is super fit. So
she's very active. So
yeah.
Thanks, Anna. Coming to us live today on Skype, holding a big white microphone.
It's quite large.
Mr. Matt Legrand, how are you, Matt?
Good. How are you guys? What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are looking Skypey.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, how about we jump into some backpedaling? Matt, since you're right there and I can see you and you've got your big white microphone all hooked up, why don't you backpedal for us?
All right, so I think I've run every day this week. Wow. So there's that.
That's good.
That's fantastic.
I was Strava
it's
stalking
been a lot
you
of
all
little
week.
runs. I don't necessarily think it's good, just because. Actually, I need Evan to diagnose. I'm having a little bit of pain at the front of my ankle. So Evan, what does that mean?
Probably anterior.
I notice it when I'm going
pinching.
downstairs. Feels like there's a little catch.
Yeah, so that's most likely whenever somebody's coming back from Achilles issues or post-tib or peroneal tendon issues. There's two parts to that issue, and one does have to go with talocrural function, which is, think of it as your ankle joint and how it rocks forward and back. And when you have one side that's been stiff, tight, and non-compliant for a long time, and now you're working into it, that front side of that mat or that anterior talocrural area now has to get used to that pinching and loading sensation. So I would suggest maybe doing 5 days of running in a week instead of 7 to let that thing have its...
Do that, but then let's two extra. Just throw those two in there.
Yeah, so 5 plus 2, right? Yeah.
Yep.
No, I've actually been looking at you run. You're progressing it well, Matt, compared to where you were last year this time. So
Really?
it's like trying to have a real PT movement over here, Matt. I'm sorry. It's a zoo in here.
No.
Awesome.
And then Bike-wise, I really didn't bike very much this past week.
Boo!
I think I missed the group ride on Tuesday.
I was
doing
looking
this
for
live
you.
stream.
You were not
again,
there. Made me
which
sad.
was fun. And then I did do an FTP test, and my FTP was as bad as I thought it was.
It was close to the all-time score. I was really hoping you were going to get the all-time score there, Matt.
I was glad that my FTP wasn't worse than I thought it was going to be. It was right where I thought it was going to be, which is not good.
It was like 250, wasn't it?
242.
That's not that bad.
That's not bad.
That's fine.
That's better than the 100 watts you've been putting in on Zwift.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean,
Really,
I thought
that's not a bad
if you get
starting
into those
point.
triple digits, that's dangerous territory right there.
Also, Matt, the ramp tests are like, if I was to design an FTP test that every triathlete would be absolutely miserably awful at, I would make a ramp test. Like, that's exactly how no triathlete trains ever. It's like, here,
Well, I
let's see
think
what
it's
your
good
all-out
'cause-
5-minute power is.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice because I have a number to work with and I have a number to work against, right? And I feel like ramp tests aren't so hard that you could literally just do it every couple weeks
Exactly.
if you wanted to, and start to try to make progress, in a positive direction. So we'll see. I mean,
It's just to set
you know.
training zones. That's all it is. The ramp test does a great job of just setting training zones.
and it's good that I didn't nail those training zones.
Yeah.
Because you
No,
don't want to be getting hurt, killing yourself in training, right?
No.
So there's that negative of FTP tests.
Yeah.
But also swam quite a bit this past week. It was New Year's, so I swam a 5K on New Year's Day. It's kind of a tradition. Evan, you did that with me one
the
year.
Sharky 5K. I saw that you did, and I missed it. I was very sad because I remember that last year, and it was fun's a strong word, but it was great doing it with you. Let me put it that way.
Yes, I made it through about halfway, and I stopped, and I was like, "This is about as far as I've ever swam. This since quarantine, since before quarantine. This is where I've been." And just kept plugging away at it, which is, it wasn't like a hard effort or anything like that. It was significantly slower than last year. Last year we were in pretty good shape, but I mean, I did that, and then I actually swam, a couple extra times in the week. It was a solid week all around. I haven't looked to see how many hours, but I would guess 10 hours again, if I had to take a guess at it, but I can look that up.
Very good.
Maybe.
Cool. Anything else?
Posted a video about is triathlon dead from 2020. It was very dramatic title.
I also like how, Matt, what percentage of YouTube watching people look at a title, don't watch the video, and then comment on said video? Percentage-wise, what do you believe?
100% of Facebook people.
Yes.
Right.
Could not agree with you more. Because that was, in my opinion, I'm really not exaggerating here, that was my favorite video you've ever done. And as we talked about, it'll probably be one of your lowest view videos. But
It's doing all right,
I
think.
love that video. That got me. Just Josh said the same thing. It got us I was excited to go out and do a random January training session after watching that video.
Good.
It was
Man,
awesome.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear because, I don't think a lot of my videos really inspire that much, and so it's good to hear any of them that do. But the video itself, for the listeners who haven't checked it out, it's basically it starts off very negative, talking about the triathlon numbers are very down and things like that. And then it ends on much more of a positive note, kind of being like, hey, we may have lost some numbers. At the same time, this has been a year where we've all really gotten pretty pumped about doing the sports that we love. And one of the biggest things was here's Evan Price doing an Everest attempt because
That was the
he
worst part.
can. So
The video was great till then.
it was good. Yeah, I mean you can see the numbers just drop off when
Just
I
everybody
showed
just
the-
shut the video off at that point. It was a lot of thumbs down at that mark, but
Yep, that's where you see all the thumbs down.
Actually, all four of us ended up being in that video somewhere here and there. Even
I
you,
haven't
Jake.
watched the video yet. I've just been.
You're fist bumping.
It'll make
we
you
see
wanna do
fist
a
bumping
triathlon.
Evan.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shots, even though it's not the best filmed and it's not the smoothest. It's just a cool moment when you're and fist bump.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The best part of that moment, outside of just it being one of my favorite moments in endurance sports, was the fact that Jake then had to remind me, you got to go back down the hill still.
Because you can see, even in that video, you can see yourself like stop the computer.
Yeah.
And you're like, don't
no,
stop the
don't
computer.
stop.
Yeah, that was Jake's first thing. He was
Go
like,
back down the hill.
It's like, no. You got to go back down.
Matt, your channel's doing good. You're about ready to click over 5,000.
Yeah, my goal was to hit that by New Year's, and it didn't happen. I thought for
Close.
sure I would, but I've had like a pretty dramatic slowing the past month or so in growth, and that's just how it goes. I think like you'll have your ups and downs.
Yeah,
So
I think as things start to kind of settle down with the coronavirus and with more people getting excited and pumped about getting out to do the stuff that they didn't get to do this past year, and with just the droves of new people that are coming into all of the disciplines, I'd say, I think that you're going to see a big bump because your channel is very friendly to people that are new to the sport.
Yes,
That's one of the things that I
yes.
love about it, and I think it's going to be a fantastic resource for people to go see stuff, and I think you're going to see a big spike. That's just my 2 cents. So
yeah, we'll see. I have some fun videos coming up where, well, the next one is like a watch giveaway, which people like. But then I have some stuff coming up talking about heart rate monitors, which I think is gonna be interesting. Like a little bit like of a technical video talking about like, difference between optical and chest straps, and then positions where you can put optical heart rates where they're more effective, and then there's of course some more watch videos. A whole bunch of like funny stuff coming. I really want to do some stuff talking about Zwift and things like that. So should be fun. A lot of fun stuff.
excellent.
Love it.
Evan, backpedal.
Oh man, it was just such an exciting last week. It's hard to really nail it down. I fell asleep at 9:30 on New Year's Eve. Woke up at like 11:30. So does that mean we were debating this? Does that mean that I stayed up till midnight?
No.
Because it does not. Okay.
Well, did you stay up from 11:30 to midnight?
I fell asleep at like 12:02.
Yeah, you took a nap.
So there you go. Yeah. So it was an evening nap. We turned on a movie, and we're like, all right, we're gonna make it to midnight.
I was asleep by 10
3.5
o'clock.
minutes later. Yeah, 3.5 minutes later, I'm out. I wake up 2 hours later, wide awake, like, oh yeah, made it to midnight. I can hear the fireworks. What a great New Year's. Yeah. And then fell asleep promptly 35 minutes later. That counts in my book.
100% counts, because if you
right.
took a nap at noon or 5 or
Yeah.
10, it doesn't matter. You took a nap. You're
That's not
still
a
up.
night's sleep. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Thank you, Lance.
If you woke up at
Lance was probably
12:01.
cooler than me this last.
Let's see. No, I was asleep in my van by like 10
By
p.m.
10. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
By river.
Yeah. So I flirted this last week with I'm never going to say overtraining, because I really do believe I like to choose words carefully with overtraining, because I think overtraining is something that's a specific long-term thing that happens. I flirted with going well over the line this last week, though. I decided it would be a good idea to stack like a ton of really hard runs into like 8 days, and I don't know why. Looking back at the tram, like, that was really dumb. It's like January. Why am I doing this? But we did on Saturday one of those terrible crit smash Saturday races, which now I'm figuring out why those are so terrible. It's like all the Zwift Pro guys jump onto that race, apparently.
They all show up.
Yeah, the American champ Holden is on that thing usually. Like Mike Woods has made an appearance before. It's like all these guys just drive the pace of the front. You just hold on for dear life for 20 minutes. But anybody who's done this Richmond Zwift course, basically the Richmond Zwift course is your worst designed workout ever. You go steady threshold for 20 minutes, and then you go 1 minute all out, 60 seconds rest, 40 seconds all out, 60 seconds rest, and then you go right into that last climb for like 4 minutes at your threshold. So it's the worst designed course of all time. So I'm shattered after that. Decide, okay, let's do a really specific 10K run workout right after that. Felt great the whole way through. Got done with it. My legs were so shot I couldn't get up or down the stairs. So I'm telling that story to tell people, don't flirt with the line of overtraining in like January. It's not worth it.
Wow.
I feel fine today, but still, like that, it was one of those moments where you got to be like, oh, it's January, 2nd. There's probably no reason to be trying to go all out
go
right
hard.
now. Yeah, not worth going all out at the moment. But yeah, that was basically my week. That was it. Oh, and Tuesday I got beat by Dr. Handel at the line on our Zwift ride.
Yes, we had
Our
Zwift ride.
I thought for sure I dropped him, and then his little gosh darn avatar Joey Shabadoo just shows up right on my tail. I'm like, it's over. He's gonna outsprint me, and he did.
you.
And he promptly outsprinted me.
Strong dude.
Price, how was that 10K workout? Did you do a 10K time trial type thing, or?
No. So I warmed up off the bike. I think 30 minutes. My legs needed a lot longer than I thought they would need. So warmed up 30 minutes. Originally, the workout was going to be 4 by 10 minutes with 5 minutes in between. And the 10 minutes was going to be at off the bike 10K goal. And instead, I did like somewhere in between off the bike and actual fresh goal. It was like it was like around that 5:24 pace. And I did 20 minutes, felt really tired for the 5-minute recovery, made it 10 minutes, and then tried to go another 20 and only made it 15. I have this bad habit of when my legs feel good, I'll like adjust tempo workouts mid-workout, which is a terrible idea. So that's it. It went from what was supposed to be 4 by 10, which Josh followed perfectly and did awesome at. And then, of course, me, the one who prescribed the workout, decides to be an idiot and go 2 by 20, which was a terrible idea. So, yeah. Matt, you being a coach, that'd be the equivalent of like, what, one of your kids is like, all right, 10 by 4 today. And then like one of the kids is sneaking off and doing an extra like 4 by 400 for no reason.
Yeah, we have kids that love doing that kind of thing.
I cut my training time in half this last week, and every time I got on the bike, I felt phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, it's great when you're not training 30 hours in a week.
Right?
Yeah.
I felt so good. But
Why don't you backpedal then?
Oh,
Mr. I feel so good.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny. I'm still streaking.
Yep.
I am a streaker, and I'm still streaking. That's why I'm fancy pants, Lance. It was funny. There was one day we drove like 14 hours, and we're 6 or 7 hours into it, and as I'm like, I was moody and I was cranky, and Brandy's like, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?" My wife is like hassling me, like, "What is going on with you?" And sure enough, she's like, "You haven't ridden yet today," and I'm like, "No, I haven't." Okay, we need to pull off the road somewhere so you can ride. I'm like, okay, let's go ride somewhere because I feel kind of cranky. I rode all the way, or we drove all the way to Vegas and back in the last 5 days. I went to, Ryan Lee got married. It was a fantastic.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Yes, it was great. We had a great time. A couple of my college buddies were there. It was nice to hang out with them. We hiked every day, or I still rode my bike a little bit every day in Vegas. The weather was great in Vegas. It was.
Did Ryan send you home with a top 10 list by chance?
No.
Oh, come on, Ryan.
He had.
Yeah, it's not like he was busy or anything.
He had many other things on his mind.
What was he doing? This guy staying at the
There's
altar.
only one
get
thing
married,
that matters,
right?
though.
It's not just getting married. His wife and 3 of her kids are moving into his house as well. So there's a lot of moving parts that were happening this week.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes.
That was a good joke. Right? Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts.
A lot of things happening there. So, but yeah, rode some mountain bikes. Rode my road bike a few times. There's a ride that's pretty common out in Vegas. It's up doing the Red Rock Canyon Loop, or up towards Blue Diamond in the Summerlin area. And like, just to tell you how good my legs felt one day. It's like there's a 5-mile climb. It's only like 800 feet. I averaged over 20 miles an hour.
Wow.
And I was like blowing past guys and getting cursed at, and I deserved being.
Why would they
cursed at.
curse at you?
Like, what the hell was that? That kind of cursing. But
Lance, how's the Vegas community doing after the I guess car crash incidents where the car went through? What was it, like killed 5 riders, went through a pack of cyclists.
It injured like 12 people and killed 5 guys. And that happened a good 80 miles south of Vegas, but it was all Vegas riders that it happened to.
Yep.
Is there any update on that? What's going on with the guy that was on meth driving the box truck?
No more update other than he's been charged. I think he's been charged at this point.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I actually am not sure if he's been charged.
Yeah.
I don't know that yet. Yeah.
We'll have to get
I've
an
been
update
trying to
on
track that like pretty in depth.
Yeah.
That's
A lot of sadness, a lot of, it's just, that was a terrible, terrible event that happened. And, I knew they had a big, like memorial ride that they were trying to keep, kind of under wraps and kind of small, and like 400 people showed up.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So
One of them, I mean, Tom Trugger was a big-time everyman Jack rider and just a really influential guy in that community, especially in the Vegas community. So, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of sad.
Very tough.
Yeah.
Very tough for that community. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, rest of my week was great.
Good.
Did some hiking, found some rocks.
You're a
rode some
rock
mountain
collector
bikes.
now, aren't you?
Man, I found some rocks. What are you doing with your retirement right now?
Well, you end up in these like
rocks.
back
No, he's got some really cool geodes and some like really neat rock
and fossils. Found some fossils.
He's got a whole stack of them on his workbench in his garage that we all
Oh,
happened
yeah.
across last weekend.
You guys all, half the team was in my garage and like, what? There's a whole bench full of rocks. There's some cool rocks. I don't know.
Something fun to do. And Brandy digs it too, so
She
you guys
does.
connect on that. That's fun.
It's a really fun thing to do while you're traveling because they're really nice breaks. Hey, there is a spot here and it's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah. This is almost
Brandy calling to say
This is
going
almost
treasure
the
hunting.
opposite of me. So like Lance is like the opposite of a homebody now, but a homebody collects like cats in newspapers. Lance, who just now travels the world, is the opposite of a homebody, collects rocks. That's I think bikes and rocks.
Well,
it's
so-
either cats and newspapers or bikes and rocks. You got one or the other.
So here's half the time we stop somewhere. I'll get on my mountain bike because we're on some backcountry dirt road.
And go collect rocks.
Well, no, Brandy will go with the dog searching for treasure.
See, it's cooler when Brandy does it. When you do
Brandy's
it, it's weird
searching
for
for
some reason.
treasure, and,
It's 'cause
and
the
I
mustache.
ride my bike. Yeah. There's
When
nothing.
Brandy does it, it's cool, eccentric, and like artistic. When Lance does it, it's a guy like stealing rocks. He's running around with a mustache, looking like he's just stealing rocks.
The mustache was a big hit at the wedding. No, it was not.
It was not.
I showed up and Brian came up to me and was like,
Shave that right now.
"You are not a true friend. You still have that thing on my face." I'm like, "I'm going to wear a mask." So, anyway,
Awesome.
that's it.
Cool.
I still rode bikes every day.
I am still streaking as well.
Wow.
I'm only doing it because
because we are.
you and Sean Martin. I'm going to, I don't know,
It's dumb.
shackle you guys to your house and say you're not allowed to go riding. So,
I will say this. One of my rides last week
yeah.
was a Zwift ride. I did 12 miles in an hour.
Wow. Matt, does that make you proud?
I went so slow.
Lance, I'm so proud of you right now.
12 whole miles in an hour. Yeah. It was,
Way to get it done, dude.
yeah, it was
There you go.
purely to check the box. That's the reason I was on there.
I rode all 7 days, 5 of those being on Zwift, and I did factor in a few kind of like active recovery, like low zone 2, upper zone 1 kind of rides, because I was still kind of feeling a little bit of a hangover from that big week the week before. 16 and a half hours that week before kind of got at me a little bit because we did some work on some of those rides, and I was just spent.
yeah.
So, yeah, and then I did get out and ride on the gravel bike a couple times this past week, which was a blast.
That looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean they were the same ride, almost identical, and I like that route. It's fun. It's like nice mixed terrain, mixed surface. Go down on the dike, and one day I did a little bit of workout. The second day was again just a zone 2 ride and fun. Yeah, need to go do some more gravel riding though this year.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So that's about it from me. I don't want to bore anybody.
Too late. I already bored him.
How about
It's January. That's all we're doing is boring you at this point.
Oh, geez. How about a little bit of this?
Champ Bailey, top 5. I think he's in the top 5 discussion. I mean, I'm not
I don't
going
know
to go
about
out
that top
crazy.
5
Hall of
thing.
Famer? Top 3. Hall of Famer.
Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey by Champ Bailey.
Lead out news, Champ Bailey. What's up?
Champ Bailey here.
As we're in January, the intro to Champ Bailey is like almost longer than the available news for lead out.
Okay, well,
except for cyclocross.
Okay, there was like 10 cyclocross
There
races.
was a lot of
I'm
cyclocross.
not
Special
even
week
gonna
still?
Go, what?
Is it still special week over there?
It's still special week or festive week.
Oh,
or
special week. I like special
I
week.
like
Can you pronounce
special
any
week.
of them? I've been trying to track it. I'm looking at,
Dendermonde.
I look at every single one. I'm
Hootest.
like, no idea.
I can't pronounce any of them. The biggest thing you need to know is if it's relatively dry, Matthew Van Der Poel won. If it's muddy, Wout van Aert was close, but
Yeah.
still didn't win. Matthew, he's raced. What is it? Today January 4th, or is it the 5th?
All day long. It's the 4th.
Okay, it says there's been 3 races already, and Matthew Van Der Poel won all of them.
Oh, geez.
A couple of them, one of them by minutes. He just crushed them. So
Okay, quick question. Best all-time cyclocross racer. Are we looking at least two guys that you have to throw their hat. The name
Oh,
of the
they
hat.
have to. I mean,
would
who
you put
else?
MVP as the best all-time cyclocross racer?
You know, Sven Nys was
wicked fast.
He was the man for like 8 or 9 years and
Were you
won
at
many world championships.
Yeah. Were you at Hetmere when he came out and did the Hetmere race?
It wasn't Sven Nys.
I thought that was Sven Nys.
That was Lars van der Haar.
Oh.
I know
good
way
old
too
Lars.
much.
Okay.
Good old Lars.
Lars van der Haar is still racing, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
But,
Anyway, sorry.
yeah.
But back to those two guys. Would you...
I don't know. I think Sven Nys is still at the top of that list because he had like 6 world championships, and Van der Poel has 2.
I think Wout has
Wout
3.
has 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
so
what
MVP...
if they combined into one cyclist?
No.
Would they be better then?
I think the two of them are making each other better. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
MVP's only 25, so he's got a few more years to tack some stuff on, but to get up to that 6 mark, that's tough.
It's going to be hard because he is going to move on to other cycling things.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I heard he's
So,
going to triathlon next year.
No.
I'm joking.
So, on the women's side, almost every race has been won by Lucinda Brand. Alvarado had the reigning world championship. She was up there in quite a few races as well. Clara Honsinger was close to the podium in a few races, but didn't quite crack the top 3, I think. I don't know. I was driving most of this week, so I didn't see any of
Watching
these
and driving.
races.
Safely driving while watching cyclocross.
So pretty interesting. World Championships are coming up, and certainly it is Van der Poel's race to win or lose. But it's really a race between Van der Poel, Van Aert, and possibly Pidcock.
I'm going with Pidcock. That's my pick. Right there. Numero uno, the 21-year-old.
Pidcock can win if Van der Poel has a bad day.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. And it's dry. Because if it's
mechanical or two.
If it's muddy, well, we'll ride away from both of them.
Pidcock will not win if it's muddy. He's too small.
So, on the women's side, there's like 8 different women who could possibly win. It's been kind of a toss-up. And Claire Hunsinger is one of those 8 that could
Let's
possibly
just go for
get in there.
Hunsinger. Let's just all pick Hunsinger.
But it's going to be Lucinda Brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
What else you got there, champ?
There was some big news in Tour de France announcements. They did invite Alpecin Phoenix to, and not just Tour de France, but all the World Tours.
The World Tours, yep.
So that means Mathieu van der Poel will be riding in the World Tours, or at least 1 or 2 of them. So
I'm curious to see who they put out as their GC guy, or are they just going to have like a
They'll just they'll just stage hunt.
Stage hunt? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He said he's there to race for his sponsors. He's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, and he'll go for stages, but that's too long of a race for him right now.
So I've got 2 interesting takes. I think he will win a tour stage, 1 tour stage, but he will not finish the tour. I don't think he'll finish.
Maybe not. He didn't race.
I think it'll be by choice. I think he'll be smart.
He didn't race his goal is the Olympics.
Yeah.
Mountain bike Olympics, cross country mountain bike Olympics, and the cyclocross world championships.
Do you know what doesn't? Do you know what doesn't prepare you for really
A
hard
3-week
mountain bike
tour?
racing? 3 weeks of climbing.
It doesn't.
leading into that? The tour will be the first week of June or January. I'm sorry, July.
July, right? Yeah.
I haven't eaten in like 24 hours, so pardon me. So then, gosh, the Olympics is
Ketones
August,
are
isn't it?
kicking in.
Yeah, ketones.
Yeah, it's in
I was
August.
about to make a ketones joke.
Yeah, it's in August. I
He's
think
going
the
to carry
Olympics are
some
in
fatigue
August.
into that, but
Yep.
he's just, if somebody can do it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
It'll just be him versus Wout. That'll be, I mean, on like any stage that's like, oh man, this is a stage for a poacher. It'll be like just those guys dominating any breakaway they get into, and Alaphilippe trying to hang on.
Well, this is going to be a fun year to watch.
Oh, it's going to be a blast for those stages, yeah.
Like Van der Poel, he didn't do the World Championships because he's like, that course was too hard for me. I didn't want to do it. And
oh yeah, that was for sure not his course.
It was like 7 hours. It was
so
like
much
140
climbing.
miles in like 7 hours or something.
Yeah.
He said he wouldn't have been able to hang. That's where.
Well, and they
Alaphilippe
hit that climb. Like, how many times did they hit that climb at the end?
I don't know.
Because it was like
4 times.
Yeah, it was like the last time up, Alaphilippe pips everybody, which would be like that's his. I mean, that's
then
his
rode away.
race, and he's half the size of Mathieu van der Poel.
So
cool.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got. Was there something else?
No.
Okay. Champ out.
Evan, do you have anything that you need to add to that, or Matt?
No. None of the people we talked about last week have picked up any new bike sponsors. Oh, Josh Amberger went with Specialized. I mentioned that last time.
Oh, did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got a really funny video out on YouTube. Josh Amberger's a comedian. He's a triathlete that should have gone into comic.
I don't follow him on YouTube.
Oh, he only has a couple YouTube videos, but he's hilarious. He does race reports, and they're very, very funny.
That's good.
Yeah. Outside of that, nothing in the world of triathlon.
Cool. All right, hey, how about some quick Patreon news? Again, we've still got our same group of Patreons. Thank you so much. We talked about, or at least I talked about last week, us doing a live broadcast of the show this week. We're going to have to push that off another week, maybe two. I'm still waiting for some hardware to show up so that we can make the multi-camera thing work here.
I wore my best black T-shirt for you, and we're not on camera.
It is coming. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. I promise. So yeah, but again, thank you for our patrons to help make that happen. For this week, though, we did say that we're going to do a little drawing. You know why? Because today is our 150th episode.
150.
Hallelujah.
150 times we've pestered you guys and bored you and blabbered on. So we're going to do a quick drawing. Lance has got the little container going with everybody's names in here who is a current patron. I believe there's like 19 or 20 people in there. I get to draw. So I'm going to look the other direction and pull out a name, and it's going to be Perry York.
Perry York.
Yeah, Perry York. So, Mr. Perry, when you hear this, come on down to the Dialed Cycling Lab or the Dialed Endurance Lab or 6 1/2 dozen other and get yourself a dialed neck buff, which is beautiful for this time of year when we're riding out in these crappy weather times and it's cold. Keeps your face and ears and head warm. So, plus it's really good for COVID stuff.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for that. Appreciate it. And we'll do another drawing probably in a month. Good
Okay.
times. Yeah. Why do you got this coy look on your face, Lance?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're looking at me like you're saving something up. Or you have something to say.
I got nothing to say.
He's just got this like Chester Cat smirk on his face.
I think that's just the mustache.
And the mustache doesn't make it any nicer. So, all right. So our topic for today, you guys, ketones. Where do I get some?
Ketones. I got some in my bag here.
No, seriously though, that's kind of like a thing that's.
Do you really have ketones?
Yes, I do.
Do you really?
God.
Yeah.
Of course, you're taking ketones.
No, it's a funny story.
Is it?
Here, you guys can look at. You can't have it, but you can look at it.
Bottoms up.
Wow, that is dense. Oh my God.
Lance, how much do those things cost? Those little shots
That's
of ketones?
why I haven't used them yet.
Oh yeah, you're saving
How much
these,
they
right?
cost?
I don't know what I'm saving them for.
Yeah.
So these came. Can you see them, Matt?
Yeah. I saw. I mean, they're dark vial.
It's like a little vial. It's 2 fluid ounces.
What does EPO stand for? Inject directly into gluteal muscle. What is this? From Lance's backpack?
This is 2 fluid ounces. It's from AG or Ketone Performance, whatever. These are ketone esters. This one bottle is $35.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Are you serious?
It was $115 for these 3 bottles. And
Plus
I ordered
shipping,
them
plus tax.
Yeah, I ordered them from the feed because I'm like, I want to try these out. And then I didn't realize there was so much money, and so I've been holding on to them to use like in a longer race or something. And
Like when I'm there and you want someone to go toe to toe with,
yeah,
right?
I'm just afraid I haven't cracked them because they're so freaking expensive.
We'll get into this in a little bit, but I'm curious, like what the protocol is for taking this stuff. I'm sure that there's a protocol that they gave you to follow, but so long story short, this is becoming pretty prevalent in the cycling world. And there was a Road Bike Action magazine article that came out a few days ago, and it's basically just kind of going through the quote unquote $100 water bottle phenomenon, and it really just has to do with people taking the ketones. And there's a lot of teams that are using this now, and there's kind of a little bit of a scuttlebutt out there whether or not they should be able to do this, whether or not it should be legal, and just like in general, like is this good for the sport? So, Evan, are you pretty ketone savvy? You kind of know what's going on here?
Since we brought this up, I remember when this became a big issue. I forget whose YouTube channel I saw that he was using it on. Was it? No, I think it may have been Vegan Cyclist. I'm not sure if it was Dylan Johnson who was talking about it. I did a little bit of looking. I'm usually immediately pretty skeptical of any supplement that they're claiming to be anything that's better than just hard work, in my opinion, recovering, right? But so the research done on this, it's actually interesting. A lot of research gets done from military bases. Same thing whenever I do blood flow restriction therapy and training for people. All that research that we use for tourniquet research was done off military, research, and this was too as well. Let's say it was done by Oxford University doctors in the early 2000s. So it's been around for a bit. I find it interesting that, of course, cycling's the sport that would take some more radical like military research and be like, let's use this. But it seems okay. It's obviously debated, so we can just put that aside. There's going to be different opinions and everything. The main idea behind ketones. So anybody who's heard the term ketone before, ketone is just a molecular body that you find when your body is beginning to undergo fat metabolism.
Correct.
To go into ketosis is when you hit a certain threshold of that amount of ketones, and that's not good. But ketosis is bad. In my personal opinion, there's going to be, I'm sure there's somebody listening to this right now who's about to rip me alive because they're...
I'm ready to rip you alive. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Let's also preface, none of us are nutritionists on here.
No, we are not.
I feel like
stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah. So, but I did. Yeah, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn. I have no nutritional degree, but I did stay in a Holiday Inn. But going into ketosis consistently, there's no research showing that is a good thing for your body to do.
No, because how do you go into ketosis?
You burn all your glycogen stores.
Right. You either have
not all your glycogen stores. There's some glycogen stores you cannot touch, but your usable glycogen stores.
You've been fasting for, what is it?
Way too long.
Is it 18 hours to hit ketosis?
Yeah, I think that's when you start to hit that.
You hit
grand
ketosis
average.
if you've been fasting for 18 hours, or you are not taking in any carbohydrates in your diet at all. And that's what the keto diet is, right?
Yeah.
It's
keto,
like almost
short for ketosis.
Yes, short for ketosis, so that you're not taking in any carbohydrates, so your body is burning fat for fuel.
Yes. Now, it's also understand this is always percentage based. So now I do have some experience here because I worked in a testing lab for a little bit. So there's whenever people are saying, "Oh, I'm carb burning right now," or "I'm fat burning." Okay, that's based off of your RER, which is a guesstimation of how much between carbs and fat you're burning.
Right.
Dominantly, let's say you're doing the ramp test, mostly carbs. You're basically burning carbs. All your glycogen stores, quick glucose. Your body's trying to get as much energy as possible. You're going on one of Lance's 6-hour escapades. You're probably going to be burning a higher percentage of fat throughout that entire experience.
Yeah, it's just the crossover effect,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. So, so measuring the amount of ketones in your system would just be indicative of the fact that you're burning fat at a higher rate, which is easier on your system aerobically, easier on your system energy transfer wise.
Well, and you're saving your glucose for
when it matters.
When it matters.
Yeah.
So you burn if you're taking in ketones while you're racing or riding, you're burning that as energy, fuel energy, instead of the glycogen or glucose in your system.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the way I understand it.
Yes.
So what they're saying is that athletes, like, according to the feed, and from this company,
Road Bike Action has a great article on this. The one that you sent us, Jake, actually does a very good job of breaking
it does,
down.
A study at Oxford showed that elite cyclists rode 400 meters further in a 30-minute time trial when they fueled with ketones, so they could go a little bit further in a 30-minute time trial. That's one of the data points that they're
to go faster, performance enhancing.
Performance enhancing.
Yeah. I always have a big problem with like performance research though.
Yeah,
because it's usually going to be less people. I just think it's too small a sample size usually to give us a good idea. Now, I know that because looking at that research, they did obviously give a placebo. There was a placebo, so they're telling somebody here at the same time, hey, you're taking ketones, and you're not taking ketones actually. But still, I think it's when you're talking. So there was an interesting note in that article talking about of the riders in the Tour de France using it. It was about a 50-50 split on what riders said their performance increased. This is subjective.
Sure.
Their performance increased versus their performance decreased. So if I'm thinking, okay, if ketones is supposed to be something that really exogenously, so there's no argument that obviously if ketones are in your system, your body's doing a better job of fat metabolizing at that time. But can we trigger these things exogenously is always the question to me. And by exogenously, I mean external, not an internal driven something. This is A really good example is glucosamine chondroitin, which has been highly debated as something that can improve joint health over time.
Sure.
Some people say yes, some people say no. I'm not here to say yes or no. What I am here to say is that the problem is they don't believe that exogenously you can improve joint health just by taking something orally. So yes, glucosamine chondroitin is very important in joint health and rebuilding, but does that mean that if you take it exogenously, your body accepts it and synthesizes it? Does your body recognize that an exogenous ketone is something that your body is, because ketones are a signaling system for your body.
Correct.
Outside of a byproduct, it's a signaling system for your body.
But it's also an energy source. The ketones themselves are, the ketone esters are
it's just like
actually
ADP.
an energy
It can be
source.
recycled back into energy.
Correct.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. That's why I've struggled. I bought these and I never used them because I'm like, okay.
Now, you can use them for recovery. That's what part of this research is also saying, which is more interesting to me, actually. But,
I'm going to take a $35 little bottle for recovery?
Yeah.
It seems too expensive.
I want to do.
Maybe that's why it's all these big teams that are doing it.
I want to do an experiment with Lance here.
Go for it.
We'll pay him $35 afterwards because I feel bad doing this. We're going to unwrap all these bottles so you don't know if you're taking ketones or not. We are going to choose 3 races. One of those races, you will have actually taken ketones. 2 of those races, no, you will not have taken ketones.
Well, I wonder if I should have.
And I want to see
right
if there's
before one
any
of my
difference.
races. I'm very confused.
Just out of curiosity, any side effects with this? I mean, is this something where you're going to be like over in the bushes, like, kind of?
The FDA states that ketones are GRAS, which stands for generally regarded as safe.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
too much is stomach distress and diarrhea, and severe mustache growth.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. If there was a 1.5% chance that I could have diarrhea after doing this, I wouldn't do it. That's how firmly I hate GI distress during a race. Is I would take the 1% chance.
If you got GI distress, that's dehydration to boot. That's gonna
Also, pooping in the woods is going to slow down your 20K time trial effort, I think. Yeah.
Or in your neighbor's front yard.
Or off a cliff in Santa Cruz.
Wait, what?
Next to a cliff. It wasn't off the cliff. It was next to the cliff. I pooped during that race. We talked about this. I pooped twice during that race while running next to Lauren Brandon. So, yeah. Yep.
This has been Diarrhea Talk.
Yeah. But, the recovery bit from this is interesting. So there's a doctor talking on here about how he believes the most beneficial part of ketones is actually that it decreases the antioxidant nature of that breakdown cycle. So obviously, if you're Lance and you go and ride super hard for 4 or 5 hours, your body's in an antioxidant state. There's a lot of free radicals doing damage in your body. Think of those free radicals as basically the byproduct of a lot of muscular activity over time. Now, that's a natural process of your body, just like inflammation is a natural process of your body after effort. The goal of ketones is actually as an antioxidant agent. So in theory, and this is all in theory. So everybody understand that there's not enough research to unequivocally say anything.
Right.
So if you're somebody sitting here saying, "No, Evan, you're wrong. This is how it works," you're already wrong because none of this is proven. So what this is it's got some antioxidant qualities, which I like over taking this like right before a race. The idea of taking this right before a race to me is like, caffeine's already proven it's great at choose your liquids carefully.
Sure.
Don't make a chemistry experiment in your stomach right before you go and try to do a 4-hour hard race.
You got to use it in training before you use it in a race. So
That's expensive training.
You're not going to
That's $35 a pop.
Bike. That's what I'm saying. That's the biggest problem with this stuff. It's so expensive.
So here's the thing. Even reading all this and knowing the Tour de France guys use this, would you, having not used this before your biggest race of the year, pop this in your bottle that you're going to take during the race?
That's why these 3 bottles are unopened. Because I keep thinking, I need to try this before a race.
Yeah.
But then...
When do you try it?
But, okay, so I'm going to try it in a hard training effort. Wait,
what if that goes bad?
Right. Then I'm not going to use it for a race. And I know...
But there's a lot of other factors that could have played into that. It could have been working great, but you could have just had a bad day.
Right. So you got to do it 3 or 4 times to even that out. And all of a sudden it's $100 freaking bottle.
So let's say it does work fantastic.
Then I'm pissed.
You're gonna start buying them by the
because
case or what?
Dude, it's so expensive.
Now, do you have that moment though where you're like, is this doping.
Okay, according
I don't
to
care what it's
WADA,
according to.
According to the World Anti-Doping Agency, it is not a banned substance.
I'm sure it's completely legal, but if in your head you're like, that felt way too easy.
Okay.
Is there anything in you, any inkling in you that's like, this is a little cheaty, just a little cheaty?
And then how are you going to feel like every time you go on like a group ride and we're out there slugging out and you didn't take, you're like, oh, I didn't take my ketones.
Yeah, that's a
Forget
good
to take
one
before
right
you go
there.
a race. And you're like,
Right.
oh, I didn't take my
Yeah.
ketones. Like there's a psychological component to that.
Yep.
And it's just like with using, for a lot of people using
This is my danger
performance-enhancing
with
drugs.
that. Yeah, this is my danger with that. You get in your head too, because here's the thing. There's a million factors as to what makes a good day on the bike. Nobody can quantify that.
Right.
We can always talk about quantifying, which is the fun of all this, but sometimes you just get on the bicycle and you have what was the old saying? The sensations are good in the legs today. I think it was a Contador quote. It was like the most just classic, like they asked him like, how'd you have a good day today? Like, Alberto, how'd your day go? And I think his answer was something like, the sensations were good. That's all he said. So it's like, how do you quantify that day? You don't. But let's say that the sensations are not good. You take ketones and let's say, yeah, they do help you, but you have a crap day that day. I mean, there's so much psych-wise that can go on in your head as a good cyclist.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's why these 3 bottles are unopened.
So do you want to mess with this? I feel like we're just talking at Lance for this.
I'm gonna go with the opposite of what you guys are going. I say
I'm
go
so
for
excited
it, Lance.
for Matt. Yeah.
And if you have some bad day or you have some good day, we're all in there. We're like, oh, I haven't had lunch and I'm, a little bit hungry before this ride, or I had a hard workout yesterday. We have tons of excuses. So, yeah, one of the excuses in addition to those other excuses might be like, yeah, I didn't have my ketones today or whatever it is. But I don't think first of all, I don't think that this is a drug that should be banned. Second of all, I've never tried it and I've never used it. So I'm not really an expert on the subject matter, but it's not banned. It's fair game. I think majority of us would probably take caffeine before a race. That was a banned substance at one point. If you took it in excess. So I have no problem with this currently. I say Lance should be the test subject for all of us. And, yes, you could use it as another excuse, but we have plenty of excuses already. I don't think that that's a valid reason to not use it.
If anybody's willing to be a Patreon for Dr. Lance Hepler, his ketone use, I'd be happy.
Show sponsor?
Can I be a devil's advocate against myself? Because now I want to piggyback off Matt. I'm going to devil's advocate my previous
already
self.
committed, Evan.
No. I'm gonna criticize my former comment. So, being as open to protecting what I think elite cyclists have to do in Grand Tours without banning every substance that they're using to help their bodies get through that terrible, awful, grueling experience, I think from what the initial research is showing with the recovery aspect of ketones, I think it should not be made a banned substance at any point because it's a naturally occurring chemical in the body. So I think you're basically just trying to dose a little bit more of that for the ridiculous efforts these guys are having to
So
go
is
through
testosterone
anyway.
and so is human
That's a
growth
good point.
hormone.
That's a good point.
Those are both natural.
And EPO too.
So is EPO.
Also, yeah.
That's natural.
What say
that's
you,
a very
Mr.
good
Price?
point. All right, playing devil's advocate against Evan, what he said 15 seconds ago, it should be banned. No, I think this is like, if it helps their recovery, I really do think I think that we just need more ways to help these cyclists because I think the Grand Tours are getting harder and harder and harder. I think they really, really are.
But you know what else helps recovery? Eating right and resting and having a massage and
well, they do all that already.
If Chris Froome gets that 9 hours of sleep and I don't, that's cheating.
That's
right?
a good point.
It's the
That's
same
a good
kind
point.
of concept of
you're right.
like, hey, we know sleep is the most effective recovery tool.
Yes.
I think what it comes down to is like, does everyone have equal access to this?
Yeah.
You kind of want to even I feel like we at least sort of want a level playing field.
Like almost the tour should supply a certain dosage of this to each team. If everybody's using it, it's very expensive. I know that's a slippery slope to walk. But
I bet you every team is using these.
Well, I'm sure most of them are.
They're all using them.
Yeah.
If they have any type of budget at all.
If vegan cyclist is using this, every Tour de France rider is using this.
We're talking about guys where the entire team is riding on $10, $12, $15,000 bikes.
Correct.
They've got major sponsors. They're
every single evening for recovery, they're popping this in their drink. I'm sure they are.
I mean,
well, it wasn't who got caught with his finishing bottle? Wasn't that Wout Van Aert?
No, that was
Remco Evenepoel.
Evenepoel, yeah.
Who was it that had that?
There was
crash
somebody else.
where
No.
they grabbed the.
Somebody.
That's,
I think
that's who it was, Matt. Remco Evenepoel. Yeah.
Wout was walking to like a podium or something, and he passed off his little bottle to his.
Oh, was it Wout too?
Yeah, it passed off the bottle to like one of the Sonair. Yeah.
Oh, he's doping for
and
sure.
He goes, yeah, that's my finishing bottle. And what's in the finishing bottle? It's this crap.
It's ketones, yeah.
It's ketones and sugar and caffeine. It's probably all of that stuff all concentrated into some.
And I guess
sticky...
me being a massive hypocrite there too. If I'm to sit here and say like, oh, these guys shouldn't be allowed to take ketones, I probably shouldn't be taking a Red Bull before I hop on the bike every single time.
Correct.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What else is in Red Bull other than caffeine?
Well, I mean, it's really doing the exact opposite of what the ketones are doing, but I get your point. Yeah, it's actually forcing me to expel basically all my glycogen stores as quick as I can.
That's right. And this is burning this
Imagine
instead of
if I
glycogen.
mixed these two and see how I'd feel. Just Red Bull and ketones into a bottle. Let's see what happens.
Actually,
probably just level out.
Their instructions say to take it with some carbohydrate. So you're not just
interesting.
Yeah. Like if you're using it for a race, wait, I get it. How to use AG Ketone Performance. For best results, drink Ketone Performance with carbohydrate-containing food or drink.
See, but wouldn't that feel... I feel like you're messing around with your natural system. If you're trying to take this during the race... I understand this as a finishing bottle, as like okay, race is done, let's get the recovery process going as quick as possible.
Or finishing bottle, meaning you need to take this before the last hour of the race. It gets passed to you before the last hour.
So while I guess you're in more of like a zone 2 effort time period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before you're about to really.
But how quick is your body's response to to exogenous ketones? I'm saying there's a lot of variables there because let's say you take that and then all of a sudden MVP decides he's about to break away and I'm Remco Evenepoel taking my ketones bottle and now all of a sudden 5 minutes later I'm having to put out a max FTP effort for 30 minutes.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying like the timing of that's dicey. Yeah.
You got to think though that the teams and the people behind this that are working with the teams have that down to a science.
Yeah,
I mean, it has to be. I mean,
yeah, but I'm saying like a race is unpredictable enough where you wouldn't know.
Of course,
yeah. I mean, like if you could predict, you're like, okay, your system processes this roughly in 30 minutes. We save that glycogen. We know nothing's going to happen before the last climb. Sure, but yeah.
Well, the British team has been using this since the 2012
Olympics. Sky and Wiggins used them in the 2012 Olympics.
And
I think that's also when they started making robots that ride bikes in Britain.
And it's only become more prevalent since then with more teams and more cyclists using it. So there has to be something there. I mean, it has to be.
Brailsford's a smart guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And, this could be a part of the whole marginal gains thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it doesn't make like a huge difference, but if you start to add it in with all of the other things, it is going to make a difference. If it's going to help out with recovery, great. But here's the question for you guys. Should it be legal? I mean, there's a lot of people that throw this into a gray area. There's a lot of people that sit on anti-doping agencies and they will say it should absolutely be banned, but that's kind of like their MO. That's what they say about everything. But there are people on teams now coming out and saying that this should not be a legal substance for the teams and riders to be using. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Well, I think injectable B vitamins are still illegal.
They are illegal?
Anything injectable is illegal.
Huh.
Well, you're not supposed to get any injections.
No, but I mean that was like B vitamins was the small one, and I know Lance and like Tyler Hamilton, all them we'll talk about in their books. That was like I think their first foray into what they considered doping was some of the recovery cocktails they would inject in. But what's the difference between that and taking a bottle of ketones? I mean, if the end goal is decrease free radicals and improve your antioxidant function post recovery, I mean, what's the difference?
Do we know?
I mean, like I think it should be allowed. I do, but I'm saying like, how does WADA and USADA like? How do you make the difference between those two? Mm-hmm. And I'm not still sure if that's still not allowed. I would imagine they're not.
So your answer, Lance, is should it be legal or not?
I said I don't know.
It's a crappy answer.
It is a non-committal answer because I'm going to drink these 3 bottles and go get on my bike.
I still hope in the next 3 days these now become like illegal by like Obra. Like Obra will come out and be like, "I'm sorry, we're no longer allowed in ketones."
Yeah, that's not going to ever happen in Obra. They don't test anything.
No.
So you're on the I don't know fence. What about you, Evan?
I do not think it should be illegal, but I find it hard to believe how they're going to be able to justify that with other things they've made illegal.
Wait, you do think it should be illegal?
No. I do not think it should be illegal. But I'm saying with what's already on their banned list, I find it strange to think that's something that's supposed to really help with recovery that they somehow just look over and they're like, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Evan, what do you what do you see on their ban list that makes you concerned that they're not legitimate? Like
cold medicine,
9-inch socks.
Yeah, but cold medicine basically has 9-inch socks. Has similar like what's the medication that's like methamphetamines? It's like that same upper
pseudoephedrine.
Type.
One that I would point to, Matt, actually
is a performance enhancer.
One that I would specifically point to, and this some people actually be surprised I'm saying this. I'm sure, is different growth factors. So like HGH.
Sure.
Here's the thing with HGH.
You think HGH should be legal?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it should be allowed in protective doses. The goal of HGH is actually tendon healing. So not
I need some of that, man.
Not
How come we're not drinking that stuff?
Not
you
muscular
taking it?
growth. So everybody thinks that it's primarily muscular growth because you look at Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire and think, man, those guys are huge. It's part of a recovery cycle cocktail that your body releases throughout the entire endocrine system. It's part of your recovery cycle. It can get abused absolutely and become very, very effective in training your butt off day after day and improving your muscular overall recovery cycle because a tendon is attached to a muscle. But I just look at these, Matt, I'm just like cruising through the list.
Sure.
But beta 2 agonist too. It's just there's things here that are part of your body's natural recovery cycle that are banned.
Yeah, but
injectable B vitamins.
So is EPO, so is testosterone. I just don't. I feel like
EPO is more
aerobic.
EPO is more of like you can argue that that EPO is more in the lines of improving your aerobic engine. I don't think that ketone. Yeah, you're right, Matt. This is a slippery slope because if I improve my fat metabolism, technically I'm improving my aerobic engine. I'm indirectly improving my aerobic engine because my body's going to be saving glycogen, which would improve my ability to perform aerobically later in a race, roughly.
Finish strong.
Yeah. I'm just not sure where the line is here for what is a recovery supplement and what is a banned drug? Like is there a line of what they consider between the two? And I am no expert on this list by any means, and I'm not a pharmacist, but I do know what your endocrine system naturally does to help recovery, and I'm just not seeing where the line is here.
I think you're right. I think that your point is like this is a very difficult line to draw, right? Where it's like you have all of these things where it's like caffeine was on the list, like a certain amount of caffeine would test you positive
that's a great example, actually.
Something performance enhancing drugs, and then now that's not the case. Like it's a very difficult line to draw. I mean, we protein shakes, like where do you of course we wouldn't think that would be added, but other things are on the list
helps
that
with
are
the recovery cycle. Yeah.
recovery enhancement tools. I just think that these are decided by a committee of doctors and probably pharmacists. They're looking at this stuff and they're saying like, okay, well, this has the ability to be abused, especially in excess. I'm thinking like you mentioned HGH, and I just think like, okay, well, we kind of have to decide on who's on that committee, let them make the decision, and then those are the rules, and then that's the line in the sand. Because otherwise we play this like wishy-washy, well, why is this banned versus that banned? Like, no, it was banned by this committee, therefore it is illegal. And so if the question is like, what about this particular substance, the ketones, right now it's not banned. Like if I'm going into competition and I'm racing against Lance and Lance is all doped up on his ketones and his mustache gets an extra inch longer,
Yippee.
like that's the sacrifice that I'm like willing to roll with. It's just like, you know what? He does not have a advantage over me. He is able to purchase these ketones. He is also able to purchase a nice bike, and whatever X, Y, other Z things that he might be able to do. It's not illegal. It just is what it is. He's playing within the rules. So, that's my stance on it. It always has been, because I think it gets to be difficult if you say, well, this person has something that this other person doesn't have. Well, if they're both playing within the rules, then they're both playing within the rules. I just don't know another way to tackle it.
God, I don't want to race guys if this is effective and all of a sudden everybody in triathlon's using this.
I don't think
my lifetime goal of top 10 goes out the window.
It's so expensive. I don't think a lot of people will use it because it's so expensive.
I don't know, man. Triathletes spend money on dumb stuff. Yeah.
That's a good point. Never mind.
Yeah. So if I lose by more this year, I'm gonna blame this.
Okay.
Just so we're aware. Okay, good.
Well, actually, I'll come back
Let's
to my
blame
question.
it for last year too, Evan.
Yeah, I'm just gonna retroactively blame it.
Yes or no, banned?
No.
No. What about you, Matt?
I'll go with the opposite of whatever everyone else says.
Of course
Matt,
you will.
Matt thinks it needs to be banned.
I'm saying no.
That's okay. So Matt's going to say yes, it should be banned then.
Yeah, it needs to be banned, guys, because let me just go on record here. It needs to be banned because too much of it is bad for you, and they just haven't done the studies yet to figure out that they need to ban this. And so the committee's going to meet at some point, and they're going to be like, yeah, no, we need to get this out of the Peloton, and it'll get banned. So
I actually do agree with you that really, since it's only been military-wise medically studied since the early 2000s, that's a pretty short window for any like longitudinal studies to have actually been done. We're talking like probably like a 15-year window here. That's a real small window.
So you guys are good with the performance-enhancing effects of this?
That feels like a loaded question.
Just curious. I mean,
no, what you should ask is, will you take them if there are performance-enhancing benefits?
Would I take them?
Yeah.
I probably would if it wasn't $39 a bottle.
It's $39.
Let's say
Lance just pulled it up for a case of 50. It was like what, $1,500?
No, it was $1,900 for a case of 50.
Yeah, just on that alone.
$1,900
for a case of 50 of these bottles.
So
wait, what does the math even work out to? There. Oh yeah, that's okay. So it's like $30 a bottle.
$39 a bottle.
How many of those a day do you have to take if you're following their regimen? Is it more than once a day?
They probably
you
tell
just
you
take them when you need them.
There's 30 minutes before races. You take a bottle for recovery. If you're more than 180 pounds, you might need more than one bottle per
30
serving.
minutes before a race. What if you're doing a cyclocross or a crit race? That doesn't even make sense from what they're saying is the physiological benefit then.
I don't know about that, Evan. I think you've got an extra energy source. We don't think that I wouldn't expect there to be like a long delay between when you ingest this and when you'll be actually able to benefit from it. So I think cyclocross might be, 30 minutes before your cyclocross race might be prime time.
Here's their recommendation. For endurance, you drink one of these bottles 15 to 30 minutes before exercise along with your usual carbohydrate fuel. If you weigh more than 180 pounds, you might need more than one serving. For resilience, for extended exercise, try with carbohydrates every 2 to 3 hours. So every 2 to 3 hours during the ride. And for recovery, help your muscles recover and restore lost glycogen. Drink immediately after exercise with your post-workout carbohydrate nutrition to rebuild muscle overnight. Drink a serving before sleep. So
that's what I think is the finishing
you're looking
bottle.
at $120 to $180 a day.
If you're doing
why
a
that
3-hour
guy took that out of Remco Evenepoel's pocket.
He's like, that's too expensive. You
He's
didn't
like,
use
you
it.
kidding
We're
me?
using this tomorrow.
That's almost $100 in his pocket. Remco, I don't care if you're dead. Give me that bottle.
There's
Check
probably
his pulse
somebody
real quick. Wait, where's the ketones?
There's probably one soigneur in charge of the ketones. Keep track of the ketones.
I was like, what if he's dead? So he's like, I don't care. You get the ketones off his body then.
Just based on
that
that
soigneur
alone.
basically scaled a mountain to get down there to grab a $100 bottle of this stuff.
That's right.
That is ridiculous. And there has to be a massive margin in this stuff. If you're producing it at large scale, there's no way that it boils down to that. And I don't think that they're pricing it.
Ketones can't be that hard to get either. I mean, like, what to like manufacture this? I don't know.
It's got to be hard if it's
we have no idea.
expensive. We have no idea.
I mean, those Oxford guys are pretty smart, Matt. I don't know. They probably have a really cheap way to do this now.
They starve dogs and then they take right now a poor dog is starving because of Lance.
Oh, who's the woman who always did the really sad commercials? The celebrity who always did the really sad commercials.
Susan.
Yeah.
Susan, the blonde from Three's
She's
Company.
going to need to do. This is going to be
Susan Summers.
Yes, Susan Summers.
10 years from now, this is going to be save a dog who had to be starved so you cyclist idiots could drink your little ketone drinks. How does that make you feel, Lance?
I don't know.
I
That's
feel bad.
definitely cost prohibitive for just about every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. I mean, if you're spending even just $100 a couple times a week, I mean, you're talking about like a massive amount of money per month, per year, whatever it ends up being. That's just kind of ridiculous. But I'm looking at this over at Lance's iPad, and there's a lot of 5-star reviews on that.
81 5-star reviews.
I mean,
do you know what else though? This is the psych thing that we were talking about. If I spend $40 on something and use it, I am going to really convince myself that was worth that purchase.
Yeah,
you are.
I can also
Evan, I like your idea of placebo effect for Lance.
I'm going to do this.
I also like.
I owe you $80 as soon as we're done with this experiment.
I'm going to spend $40 on a bag of Rocket Red that's chock full of phytonitrates, and you're going to bolster your your oxygen delivery, and you're going to see a 6 to 8% increase. Or you can just go juice a bunch of beets that cost you $2 for 3 of them. I mean,
even better, get a pack of 50 Red Bulls for like $60, last you forever. Get a pack of Swedish Fish from Costco for they pay you to take the bag. Basically, you saved yourself a couple $1,000. There's your carbs and your caffeine. It's been working for me.
Seriously though, let's say you take these 3 bottles and you ride out of your mind, and you're like, "There's no way that it was anything else. It was these." And holy crap, I just spent $100 on taking these 3 things to ride out of my mind. You're gonna want more of that.
I'm going back to work. So that I have a job.
We'll fix teeth for ketones.
The Dowd Endurance Lab will be hiring a dentist that next week, I think, after
That's
that.
right.
That's hilarious. So is it worth the price?
I don't know. I haven't used it yet.
Hey, price, is it worth the price?
No. God, no. Are you kidding me? Have we lost our minds in cycling?
Yes. I don't even know why I ordered it. It was like I'm on the feed and I'm getting
you
other
got
stuff.
3 of them, which is reasonable. Yeah, no, I completely understand you wanted to order this, but now when you're looking down the picture of like, they want me taking this like before and after the race?
Before and after.
Yeah. Okay.
And if it's more than 3 hours,
and I'm still
take
not
another
convinced. I'd love to sit down with, I wonder who could talk. I'm trying to think through my like Rolodex if I got somebody we could bring on to like talk at me as to why you would ever take this before a crit or before a cyclocross race.
Well, they're 50-minute races.
Also, why with carbohydrates? I'm not understanding why with carbohydrates.
So that's not just burning this. You still have glycogen in your system. Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah, but you have a ton of glycogen sitting in your system just already before a race unless you decided to fast before it.
But if you can go.
I think supposedly when you burn ketones, it produces more ATP. Is that right? Like I think it's like it's more beneficial for you to burn those versus normal glycogen. So, and then you have those leftover glycogen anyway. They're still there. So, there's not a downside.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is right from the website. Ever wonder what it would be like to have something like rocket fuel in your pocket?
This is just too gimmicky. I don't like it. It's too gimmicky. Do you guys remember the EPO booster when that came around? It was in every like cycling news magazine for a little bit.
And it wasn't EPO.
Oh, I hated that.
Thank you.
Supposed to,
but it was called EPO booster. I know.
It was called EPO booster, but it was not EPO.
I know. Yeah. It was supposed to be a naturally stimulating red blood cell, increaser. Which to me it was funny. They're like, hey, how do we make this cell?
It was like iron.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what this just seems gimmicky to me.
But all these teams are using it.
It's becoming more prevalent.
It's become more prevalent.
Are we going to trust cycling teams, though? I trust Brailsford, but are we going to trust, like, FDJ's guy who's, like, these are the teams that have almost killed professional athletes in the past. I'm not going to, if somebody comes up to me and they're like, I think this is a performance enhancer, most of the Tour de France teams are using it. Like, the Tour de France teams also almost killed did kill like quite a few cyclists in the past. So
they did.
I'm not going to sit there and say that they're somehow ethically and scientifically like not questionable.
So the MPCC, the Movement for Credible Cycling, they do not allow ketones in their teams, the teams that have signed on with them.
Huh.
So that's more of like kind of like an honor system.
Yeah.
When you sign up to that, that's kind of like just saying, I promise that I'm not going to take any drugs. I'm not going to do anything that's performance enhancing. They have put that on their list of things that you will promise not to take. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, that makes me question why we used it at all.
I don't know.
Which teams are on this list?
Give me a second here.
Dield's not on there.
No, sir.
We got it on the table right now.
We're like, yeah, we don't use this. It just happens to be on our table right now.
I will say on this podcast, we are historically bad timing with jokes. Matt, do you remember right before this seriousness of COVID hit when you and me were like, yeah, let's just try to get this thing and see how bad this is. Like it was like in February. No. No. That was Matt. Let me for the record say, because we were talking about it being a YouTube video.
No,
okay?
that was me.
Was that
I told Matt that he needed to contract it, make a video about it, and he would have a billion subscribers. He'd be the biggest thing on the internet.
And then I immediately left. Everybody, if you're listening to that and you're like, you are awful people, it was in February before we really knew much about how awful it was. Yeah. But this is reminding me of that scenario because we're going to joke about this. We have it on the table. And in 2 weeks, USADA will say it's
illegal.
Highly illegal, yeah.
So the teams bound by that MPCC membership are AG2R, Bora Hansgrove, so sorry, Peter Sagan, none for you. Cofidis, EF Foundation, Group Pharma, FDJ. Here's the one that makes me laugh. Israel Startup Nation. Sorry, Mr. Froome, you can no longer take your ketones, buddy.
Right.
And Lado Sudal.
How will Peter Sagan ever win a race again without this?
Don't know. Maybe that's what happened this year.
I bet you that those teams are breaking that rule.
Probably.
I wouldn't put it past a French cycling team. I would find it hard to believe that AG2R is not dipping their toe at least a little bit into this.
All right, so why don't we put a thumbnail or thumbtacker in that one? Yes. Come back to it after Lance has taken his 3 bottles to give us a report and
diarrhea.
Cha.
They couldn't have made this look any more like illegal too.
I know it's in a.
Looks like a giant vial.
It looks like a big vial. It's like in a thick glass.
If they had put this in
bottle.
like one of those cheesy little plastic containers, you know, like a 5-hour energy thing, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Let's just go and take these. But it's in a glass vial. You're like, oh, whoa, okay, wait a second.
This is temperature sensitive.
This stuff is intense.
It must be because it's like dark. It looks like prune juice actually.
When does it expire? How long does it hold for? I think I saw a stamp on the bottom of it there.
2022.
Okay, so when did you buy them? How long have you had those in your bag?
They've been in my bag for like 6 or 8 months.
That long?
Yes.
Why haven't you taken them?
I'm afraid to. It's too expensive.
Dude, they're good. They're good till 2022.
I'm saving it for. I don't know what I'm saving it for. I'm saving it for Cyclocross Nationals.
You're saving it for the World Championship.
That's right.
Whenever you make it.
I'm never making
Hopefully
it
before
too.
2022.
Right.
You could be on the national television broadcast of the Cyclocross Championships.
So
look at this guy. He's over there taking a crap in the woods.
So if racing never happens again, the question is, did Lance just waste $120?
Yes, I did, if that's the case.
Well, then we just got to do your next 20-minute test. You're taking this.
There we go. I'm taking it before my next ramp test.
Ramp test or next segment you chase?
Yeah.
All right, let's put that behind us. Let's jump into one last thing. Mr. Legrand, why don't you start us off?
Let's see. Like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, video coming out where I'll be giving away a Polar Vantage V2. It's a nice $500 triathlon watch. So you guys should put your name in the hat for that one. It's I don't have that many followers, so there's a good shot that you could win this puppy. And that's about it. I'll try and get this out this week.
Is it a
around
comment
when the podcast comes out?
Is it a comment on the video puts us in the drawing mat?
I think so. It is. recorded the talking head part, and I think I said something along the lines of like, you gotta subscribe, Evan. So that's you.
I've already subscribed.
And then
You got
I've also-
the bell
comment.
notification.
I will not hit the bell notification though. But I have commented on the first 20 videos of
You're,
yours.
you're out of the running, Evan.
no, you've commented on every video. You guys went through every
did.
video and commented, which was fantastic.
We did. We have to keep
That's
up with
awesome.
it though. So this weekend we gotta go back. And
You gotta go
comment on
back
the
and
next
catch
couple.
back up again.
Yeah, we gotta catch back up.
Evan, one last thing.
I will be doing a virtual race this weekend on an actual course, though. So it's the resolution run is going to be this weekend.
They're doing it virtually. You do it on your own. and
Yeah,
record your time.
everybody's got like a different start time, so it's virtually, but it's also even well organized to where there won't be any gatherings because I think it's every 10 minutes somebody's starting. So I will be going out and running a road 10K.
Cool.
In my Next Percent shoes because that's what you do when there aren't races to race the really expensive
Right.
pair of shoes. Speaking
Cheater.
of cheating, yes,
Next
thank you.
percent shoes, cheater.
I bet that those make you faster than ketones do.
Yep, maybe.
And then together, oh man, Lance, I'm probably not going to give this back to you. But yeah, that'll happen Sunday. It'll be fun. If anybody wants to ride their bike by me and throw water on me or yell at me or anything, that'd be greatly appreciated.
I think I might come out and take some pictures.
Woo! Yeah.
You
It'd be
mentioned
fun.
that. I'm like, that sounds fun.
Matt, ride your bike out and throw something at us or do something. It's actually not too far from where your home is.
I'm on it.
Lance is bringing the ketones. He'll be out there.
Send me some more.
take it
Send me some more
mid-race.
details and ketones. I'll be there.
I could run 200 yards instead of 100 yards if I take
There
the
you go. Yeah.
ketones.
You pour it over my head. Does that help? Do I have to
yes,
drink
right.
it?
Awesome. Mr. Hep,
One last thing for me. I will not be here next Monday. I'm supposed to be sitting on a beach, so we'll see if that actually happens.
last time we talked to you,
What
you
beach?
sat on a beach in a hammock.
I did do that.
You gonna do that
once.
again?
Like a desert beach or like a beach beach?
No, I'm headed to Hawaii. I'm supposed to be going to Hawaii.
Nice. You gonna drive there?
Taking the van to
Nice.
Hawaii.
Nice.
You just got to get enough speed.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. You just kayak there.
Just skip.
Yeah.
No, to go to Hawaii right now, it's a whole bunch of hoops you got to
Uh-huh.
jump through, and
It's like testing 48 hours before you leave and all that
you have
stuff,
to have a
right?
negative test within 72 hours of getting on the plane, and you have to have the test from a approved testing
Oh, gotcha. So
facility.
even- yeah.
And you have to upload that negative test to a website before you get on the plane. Otherwise, 14-day quarantine.
Yeah.
So hopefully it all
We'll see.
works out.
Cool.
We'll see.
It's stupid. It shouldn't be going, but
Yeah. Taking the van.
I'm not known for my brains.
Taking the van?
Not taking
Just go there and go sit on a, I don't know, secluded island beach or something like that. And
Would
no.
you
to be
would you
around.
bring the cross bike?
No, the road bike's going with me. You can't.
The road bike?
Road biking in on the Big Island is fantastic.
Really?
Not all the Queen K crap that goes
Yeah.
up to Javi,
Oh no, that sounds like a terrible course. Yeah.
but
Everything else is
everything
great.
south of the Captain Cook area. There's great riding on the Big Island.
Why did they choose the course that they did for Kona?
Because it's one way. It's like long.
Gotcha.
It's one
Okay.
way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ride all the way to Javi and turn around and come back.
Yeah.
That's why.
Ready for this? I've got one last things.
4 last
but,
things.
That's
but,
three too many.
but it's for different things. One for the Dialed Cycling Team.
Well, that doesn't make it any better.
One for the podcast.
get
one,
to
for
it.
one for the Dialed Cycling Lab. One for my personal one. So the Dialed Cycling Team, real quick. We have partnered with Tangent Coffee Roasters, and we've got a bunch of fresh new bags of coffee that are down here in some new and improved packaging with some new flavors, and it's really good. Seriously, though.
Good.
It's good. So
I've had it. It's delicious.
If anybody's interested, 100% of the net proceeds will go to our Bikes for Kids campaign, and that's going to help us buy a bunch of bikes for kids eventually. So come get some coffee. Come down and buy some Tangent Roasters coffee. It's tasty good.
Get some decaf. Get some decaf for me.
I think I heard something from Mr. Salzberg that there might be a decaf variety coming up. I'll have to circle back on that one with you. For the podcast, one last thing. Go join the Dialed Cycling YouTube channel. Go subscribe. Hit that bell button for Evan specifically so you can get those notifications. That is where the live stream is going to go down. So
Yes.
if you want to watch any of the live streams that we're going to do moving forward, you're going to need to go to youtube.com/Dialed Cycling, and that's where the stuff will be put up there. If you've already subscribed to the Dialed Podcast YouTube channel, I'm sorry, but nothing's going to be posted there anymore. Womp, 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 womp.
We're folding that one up.
Yeah, it's just going to sit there and be done. For the Dialed Cycling Lab, Lance and I just posted a new video.
Yes, we did.
It went up live this morning as of Monday, and it is about the Cush Core tire inserts, and it was a lot of fun to make. And it's one of those things that if you're riding on a gravel bike, a mountain bike, or a cyclocross bike, you really need to consider putting these things in your tires or your wheels.
Make a difference.
They do make a pretty significant difference, especially if you have some expensive wheels and you want to help protect the wheel themselves. Yep. It's a great thing to add on there, and then there's just a bunch of performance enhancements to come along with it. But I won't ramble on anymore. Go watch that video. It's pretty good.
Performance enhancement. Cheaters. Cheating cheaters.
That's right, baby. And then my last one is going to be a question for you guys. I want to know, did you guys make any resolutions for the new year?
I resolved to ride less and sleep more and use reverse psychology.
I wanna be able to do a cartwheel this year.
So that's a no from both of us.
That's a
yeah. No, that's a hard yes from me. I tried last year. My 2020 resolution was a cartwheel, and like everything else in 2020, I failed miserably. So
you're gonna have to go talk to my wife. She was a gymnastics coach for a lot of years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she did that for many years, and she has taught my kids all how to do cartwheels. Yeah. I am a lost cause, though. I can't.
I know.
Cartwheels are not my future. Ever.
I was inspired by an Office episode, Matt. I'm sure you can nail down which episode that was, right? I'm sure
parkour.
Ethan could.
Parkour.
No, God, no, Matt. Oh, my God. Okay, play that to Ethan, and Ethan will redeem you. Okay?
He'll nail it. Oh, Ethan knows, no doubt.
How's a pole vaulter so I can do cartwheels?
You can?
There you go.
Gotcha.
Cool.
I trust Becca, no offense, but...
How about you, Matt?
I'm going to try to drink as much alcohol as Lance this month.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a hard goal.
I mean, I think that should be pretty straightforward, I hope. Then other than that, my go-to answer is New Year's resolution is to run more. It's been the same resolution. I've had the same one for about 25 years. So
how many times in that 25 years has that worked? 5 years
when I started off, it did okay. Yeah.
Well, that's true, because 25 years would have been after when you were running 100 miles a week, which is...
Yes.
What are your goals on the bike, Lance? Do you have you're saying ride less all in jest, but seriously, do you have a goal?
I set a goal to ride 10,000 miles
a
year. I mean, this last year I blew that out of the water because I didn't do anything else but ride a bike. But I don't know. That's really it.
I don't do miles.
Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah, I should
like
do
hours
hours.
better. I like hours.
That way you can enjoy anything. All bikes count the same.
Once the cyclocross season hits, I go from riding 300 miles a week to 80 miles a week. Yeah.
But you're still putting in a decent amount of time.
But I'm putting in the same amount of hours.
With, in my opinion, harder efforts, harder weeks,
yes.
in my opinion. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. I think that's going to be a wrap.
A wrap on 150.
That's 150 episodes. That boggles my mind that we've done this 150 times.
156 is 3 years, right? Math.
Something like that, yeah.
52, yeah, so there you go. 156.
I remember Mark Radford telling us, he's like, I just listened to however many episodes it was. He had just caught up and he went back and did all the math and added up the length of each episode, and he told us how much time that
I didn't want to know that answer. No,
at the time, it was a ridiculous amount of time. It was 50 hours or something like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but now we're at 150, and you multiply that times an hour and a half or so, give or take. That's a lot of time that we've spent rambling on.
That's a few days.
Couple.
It's like a week.
Yeah.
It's 225 hours.
Yeah.
Give or take.
That's over a week.
All right. We really appreciate everybody listening. We already told you everything you need to hear. Hopefully we'll see you back here next week, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody listening. Have a good one. Bye for now.